You see, there is this video going around social media of how a boy was invited by his group of friends to their home. And at the end of the day, they unalived him. And what happened after unaliving him, they decided to collect ransom from the parents, a ransom of almost 150 million. And without the parents knowing that they've already unalived their children or their son. But why am I saying this? I'm going to be Today's topic on the questions teenagers are asking has to do with friends. A young guy is asking whether he should choose between what the mother is saying and he should go with his conscience about his friend that he made. The question goes like this. I have a friend my mom is not comfortable with. Anytime the boy comes to the house, my mom keep telling me to stay away from the boy, and I don't know why. Told me he's cool. Maybe his attitude is not just comfortable with my mom. But my question is, should I ditch the boy and follow my mom, or I should follow my conscience and continue following the boy? Please, ma, what is your take in it? I really need your advice. You see, that is why I'm saying I'm going to be telling us a story about friends with these questions these young teenagers asked. You see, this particular story is making round on the social media, and some of you that is watching this video might have heard about it. But according to what I read, they were primary schoolmates. They lived in the same area. And at the end of the day, they left. I think they came back, they reunited. Knowing the way this boy's parents, according to the story, that they felt that they were wealthy and they needed to make quick money. Mind you, these people that perpetuated this act, the oldest was about 22 years of age. And the boy that was on alive was barely less than 20 years of age, and they invited him. I believe maybe if he had told the parents about where he was going to, or maybe if the mom has known or the father had known, maybe they would have wanted him to tell him, no, we are not comfortable, or let us even know where you are going to. But unfortunately, nothing of such happened. And the boy got dressed and went to greet them just like a normal boy, a normal teenage boy will go and greet his friend, not knowing that that would be the end of him. What happened? He went to visit his friend, and that was when they unalive him. In fact, the method they did was very, very gruesome. That it is not something that people want to watch. After that, they dumped his body somewhere and started demanding for ransom. The parents were ready to pay, they were looking for money to pay for this ransom. But all they needed was, okay, let's even see where our son is, or can we talk to our son? But it was no avail, but they were still demanding for the money of 150 million. Before you know, they started tracking the boy's phone. And that was when they found the boy's phone in one of the victims. Before you know, when they noticed that this set of boys, when they noticed that it has gone beyond them, that was when they all dispersed and ran away. But as luck ran out of them, the authorities were able to apprehend them, and that was when they started confessing. So you can imagine somebody he called friends, somebody they've been together throughout primary school, maybe eventually secondary school. And at the end of the day, it is the same boy that took his life. If they have told him, hey, don't go, will he have listened? It could have been him and his parents. And number two, that is why it will bring me to who are your friends? And sometimes when your parents are telling you something, do you actually listen? Because this set of people, they are your friends, you feel they are your G's, and at the end of the day, they cannot talk to you about them because you feel they compliment you. Well, they might compliment you, and that is why I will also tell you, sometimes before you choose friend, there are some characteristics you have to look at. And as a young teenager, most of these characteristics you don't actually see. It is only the adults that sit down to look at things that you are not seeing. And when your parents are telling you, no, I am not comfortable with this set of persons you are following, they know what they are saying that you are not saying. After all, there is an adage in Nigeria or in Africa that says, where a mother sits to look, even if you climb an iroko tree, you might not even see what your mother or your father is saying. And that is why when they tell you don't do this. They've already seen it before you can even comprehend it. So, young guy, I'm going to be telling you, you have to sit down to listen to what your mother is saying. Why am I saying adults can perceive something faster than teenagers? They can foresee so many things that even you, the teenagers, emotions, blindness, and so many other things will not make you see. Because most time when adults want to judge about their children, they remove emotions, especially when it comes to external factors. They remove the emotions and they want the best for you. So if your parents is telling, your mom is telling you, no, I don't like, and if you feel that, oh, your mom is just being paranoid or she's not seeing what you are saying, can you table your points to your mom and let your mom also table her points to you and compare and contrast and see which is better? Because sometimes your friends, as friends, the what friends of this generation are actually doing now is not something that most teenagers can comprehend. You can imagine this next story I'm about to tell of how a young boy, still young guy, that went to visit his friends in their home, a young harmless boy. But the only problem was the dad keeps telling him that this place you are always going, one day you will enter into trouble. But because this is friend, whenever he goes to their house, they eat, they cook, the family knows him. So why would they put him into trouble? He felt that the dad was just being annoyed. Maybe the dad doesn't want him to leave the home. But until the day something happened, armed robbers came to their home. And when they came, they robbed everybody. That is the friend's home now, not the young chap, the friend's home. And what happened? When the authorities came, the police, the security personnel, when they asked them, who do you suspect? Guess the same friends that they eat together, they play, they sleep, they play ball together. He was the first person they pointed hands on, to that he is the person that they know could perpetrate it, because he is the last person that came to visit them yesterday and saw what they had. Not knowing that he was not even in the know for anything. He was just an innocent boy, always going to visit his friend. But the days evil came, he was the first person they pinpointed and they picked him up. And according to the whole story, the father never wanted to even do anything. He told the boy that this is what I have been telling you, that that friend you keep saying is your friend. Now there is a trouble. The first person the friend pinpointed was you. So do you call that one friend? You now see that my telling you has been justified, because I've already foreseen it that these people you call your friends are not actually your friends. They are just your acquaintance. People you are supposed to see and say hi and go, not the people you should be mingled with, because I already see that when there is going to be issue, they will not be able to defend you. That leads me to this. When you are picking a friend as a teenager, you should pick the one that should be able to defend you, tell you what is right and what is wrong. I will go further into this. What am I saying? Some friends have harms another friend because of jealousy. Sometimes you might not know that that person you call your friend is actually jealous of you, but because they don't show it and you cannot read human mind, it will not show. But let them be troubled. That is when you will know that there is actually issue. This pertain to the females mostly. Some of them, they read it as a young teenager, but they just feel it's a teen of the pride, is jealous of me. That means I'm better than her. No, but you might not even know the evil that person is perpetrating. That leads me to my next story. You see, there was this young girl who had a friends that were different from her. Why am I saying their lifestyle, their way of life, and every other thing was different? But she so much loved their company, because at home she was always being grounded, locked in the home. But when she entered university, she found herself in the midst of this group of girls. And she found, because she has never experienced such, so she was so happy that she had people to tell her things that she never learned in the home. And yeah, girls that indulge themselves in drugs, smoking, and every other negative things in life. She wasn't doing it, but she found their company very interesting until something happened. There was an issue between them. And who did they pinpoint to? The innocent one that knew nothing about it. She was the first person they pinpointed. And everybody now thought, they say, no, she's a slow poison. Because she's not doing it does not mean that she's not enjoying it. So if we feel that she's innocent, why is she in our company? And truth be told, if you are not enjoying it, why are you in our company? So she's the one that perpetuated the act. It became so bad that the authorities were involved. And the only God that saved that girl was the parents were wealthy. They were able to pull her out. If not, she would have spent her life in jail. And she kept telling them that I knew nothing about it. I have nothing to do about it, because what happened has to involve human life. And she was telling them, they were like, no, as far you are in their company, that means you were also involved. They packed everybody, but it took God's grace and the parents' wealth that made her to be able to escape it narrowly. I think she learned her lesson in a very good way. Let me not put it in a bad way. And also, this also led me to another story about a young girl that made friends on the streets, not knowing that they were actually envious of her. Let me tell you what happened. They planned against this young girl. Tell them that, oh, since you are our friends and you are not doing what we are doing, then let's see how we are going to do. Guess what they did? They dropped this young girl, called boys, and did the unthinkable with this girl. They said that is the way to initiate her. You can just imagine this young girl that knew nothing. I'm just friends with you. But because of the envy, because of they knew that she cannot partake with them, and guess what they did? They all gang up, did what they did with her. And the most painful part, because this girl became pregnant and never knew who pregnated her. And these her friends are denying it that nothing of such happened. But she already knew that immediately she took that drink. That was when she knew what happened to her last. But her friends are saying they knew nothing about it. Where is the evidence? Nothing. Even when they took her to the hospital, they knew that yes, she was sexually molested. And the friends are saying it doesn't concern them. And that brings me to this, that your friends can make you, your friends can destroy you. These are examples of friends that have destroyed. Yes, even if you ask your parents, they would tell you so many stories of how friends have destroyed their other friends, just mainly because of jealousy, or because they just want to do something to just make a statement to such a person. And that is why it is important when your parents are telling you, I don't like this person, please listen. And if you are not comfortable as a child, you should be able to ask your parents, mommy, why don't you like, oh, this one is not like this, oh, if she acts like this, well, that is a character. But if your mom can give you something very reasonable, it is hard time for you to start telling yourself you have to shift from that friends. Let me give you an example of what friends that make friends, because the ones I've been giving are friends that destroy friends. You see, there was this story I heard, a very beautiful story. You see, this young guy was actually looking for job. He has searched everywhere. After graduate, there was no work, nothing. He tried teaching, doing labor work, and the group of friends that were illiterate, they were not literate. They grew up together in the same environment. They ate from the same place, and they were even supportive of this their friend when he said he wants to go to school. They said because they know they cannot go to school, all they need is that they needed a friend they can support to go to school. And that was how they supported this their friend. Not the same mother, not the same father. They were just staying in the same environment and became friends. And they supported their friend throughout his time in the university. And by the time he came back from the university, he was not having a job. Do you know that these friends, they took a turn within themselves to tell themselves that whenever this their friend needs money, they will be giving him money. And you see them, they will go out and they will call him and say, come and take something. He became so sad and told them, this is not the life I wanted. I wanted that immediately I finish school, I can even better you people's life rather than you giving me, let it be. And one day they sat and they said, how are we going to help this our friend? He has gone to school. He came out with a good result. So why is he still unemployed? Luckily, there was one among them. He was doing what we call mechanic. And he had a very big man among his clients that comes to repair his car. That was when he took the bold step to tell the client that, please, I have a best friend that finished university and never had a job. And can you please find a space in your workplace to give him? I'm not asking for myself. I'm asking for my friend. And the man, I said, okay, Since you're asking for your friend, that means this your friend must be trustworthy. Tell him to send his CV down to me. Let me see what I can do. And that was the story of this young chap. That was how this guy entered into multinational without knowing anybody inside this company. It was through a friend that he ended up having this job. And you can see how friends build friends. You see, even he got to a point that he needed his friends, and because there was no time on his side, he needed his friends to help him do something. Do you know that they were taking turn by turn to make sure he achieved that, not to disturb his work? These are friends. And when you see those friends, that is where this story is going to bring me. Your friends must not be rich, but let them be sensible. Yes, and let them be able to start making their own money. Because one of the reasons why we find out that what happened to jealousy is maybe you are making way more than your friends. That is where the problem begins. And you start seeing them getting envious, getting jealous, and the next thing they start planning evil. So now let me come back to you, your child. Your mom is telling you you don't like. We've seen issues of where friends have put friends into big problem, and at the end of the day, they end up in the prison yards. Another thing for the females, if you are going to watch this, and if you are a parent, you come across this video and you know you have children, teenagers, please can you give them this video to watch? It will actually help them in picking their friends. You see, a friend that will see you doing bad and will applaud you, that is not friend. That is a fool. A friend that cannot tell you the truth to your face, that is not a friend. That is a fool. And a friend that cannot correct you whenever you are hearing, that is not a friend. That is not a fool. A friend that keep encouraging you when you are always doing bad, that is not a friend. These are criteria you should look at when picking a friend. And a friend that cannot warn you against pending dangers and saying, hey, don't go there, there is a danger. Because instead the person will say, let him test run it and see how it goes. That is not a friend. How do you know them? Most times things must have become bad. That is when you start seeing them doing it, and it is totally bad. That is why I am telling you, as a parent, if as a child, if your parent tells you that, hey, don't, it means that you shouldn't. It is very, very important. And there's another thing I would like to tell you as a parent, please, whenever you are telling your child and the child is not listening, please don't ignore it. Don't say, now you know. Don't say it doesn't concern me. No, it is very important for you as a parent to sit down, because what is happening in this generation now is that friends are destroying friends, especially when it comes to teenagers. And you find out that if you ask a young teenager that is indulging in drugs, the first thing the teenager will tell you is this, is a friend that introduces me to it. And when you see it's a fellow teenager that did the same thing, it is not good. So to you, young champ, your parents might be saying what you are not saying. Your parents might be saying that thing you are not actually saying. And it is important for you to listen to your parents. And above all, when choosing friends, it is important for you to put God, because at the end of the day, what kind of friends do you want to even have? The one that in the future you'll be regretting meeting the person, or the one at the end of the day you guys will be happy because you all made it in life? Especially this so-called Gen Z generation, your friends, what characteristics, what criteria do you use in picking your friend? Like I will always tell you, your roommate is not your friend. Your classmate is not your friend. They are just your acquaintances through the journey of life. And I will end with this. As you grow older, you find out that the use of friend is no longer even, you don't even need it. What am I saying? It becomes a baggage. As you grow older, you start filtering your friends. The one that has a negative value with you, you find out you are keeping them aside. You are only associating yourself with the one that can give you values. That is why if I will tell you, your parents have little or no friends, not that because they don't want to make friends. They don't want to make friends that will give them trouble. They are picking the ones that will add value to their life. And if they are telling you at this teenage age that you should please pick a friend that will add value to your life, it is very important. And this issue of bestie, who is actually your bestie? Does he have the criteria to be your bestie? Do you people align with each other? That is one question you should ask yourself before you start doing the word bestie. And I hope with this little talk of mine, you are able to understand the importance of picking a friends. Friends is good. Friends will make you, they will bring you to high places. There are friends that have given friends job, giving them political appointment. These are good friends. They are not the ones that are envious. And above all, if you have a friend that you are doing better for and every lead better than, and you are every little thing this friend keep complaining, it is high time for you to drop such a friend, because that is not a friend, that is a foe, because that is the same friend that will plan your downfall. And above all, we've heard cases of friends kidnapping friends just because the friend is doing better than them. And when you are picking your friend, make sure they are on the same circle with you. If after everything you take nothing, make sure you take this one. Your friends should be in the same circle with you. They should be intellectually the same, morally the same, everything the same. And if you have the one that is lacking behind and you have the opportunity to drag that person to your level, please do so, because with this you will not have problem. I hope this teaches us a great lesson. Until I come your way next time on question teenagers are asking, please do well, watch my video, please subscribe and drop a meaningful comment for this video. Have a beautiful day.